would be nice to have just like some visits, have very open, free-form discussions. It doesn't need to be that you have some problem that you need someone, because a lot of good things happen by accident. Just by you bring people in together and let them have a chat, and then they suddenly realize that, hey, you actually have that, and hey, I could introduce this guy to you, and these kind of things. But they just need that kind of environment where people are able to freely talk about. So it's not about going to see some kind of lecture, but it's much more about this kind of mingling, that you just get people into the same room and get them discussing. For example, the whole Revonte startup probably wouldn't exist as it is now if I hadn't been in the mentoring session with these original two founders, and that just happened because we had this opportunity to meet with each other, and those kind of things are definitely the most effective way of moving things forward. The more you get people together to talk about whatever, then some things will happen. It doesn't have to be planned. It's basically enough to get people together, have a couple of beers, and everybody's relaxed and starts talking about all kinds of stuff, and then something just happens by sort of accident, but you need to make those accidents happen.
Definitely, I want more students for myself in the team. This is because I really value the knowledge that people have gathered in their work lives, of course. Let's say if you have been working in a software company for the last 10 years, you are really proficient in what you're doing. But still, I'd say in our case, we really need the student experience. We really need that people with some kind of mindset that to ours, that are more daring and are willing to try out new stuff and actually do the innovating that everybody's talking about.
What it actually means to be an entrepreneur is that you need to cope with failure really well, because that's what entrepreneurship basically is. I had heard this idea that 1 in 10 startups succeed. So I had this idea in my mind that, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot 10 times. I didn't think in my own head that the first thing was necessarily something that was gonna be the biggest success of my life. It was something that I was gonna give everything I have for it, and of course try to make it happen, but I knew the facts and the real world situation behind all of this in all the startup hype.
I always try to offer cooperation, even that it's completely hard.
We have got so much help from different communities, like the financial part, like Business Finland has helped us, and the Business Tampere has helped us a lot. I think there are kind of big communities, and first it was Ensimetri before I just started, and later Tribe Tampere, so many people and so many companies and so many associations has helped us, and all the advice, all the competitions and everything. So I am so grateful for that.
If one startup has some sort of network, their tight collaboration between the startups, all the time the network is a lot larger. I think that's when it comes to the ecosystem thinking, it's important to have a collaboration, because as I said, every time you have a discussion, you learn something new. That's why we have a lot of discussions with certain different stakeholders. I think collaboration is good in all cases.
Since we have an office with the open area in Pinninkatu, we have good relationships with the startups who are at the same room. We haven't been in so many events that we would know all yet, but then again, if somebody comes and asks for help or tools, either way around, we are going to find a solution. So it's working.
The message is more about giving back to the community. So I think that makes the community really a lot better and stronger. Giving back, mentoring, giving workshops, talking about things I know, and try to make them information rich but brief. I think trying to package stuff that you've learned and give it back to those who are thinking that they might want to start. I think that's something this ecosystem and public sector funding it, and then the wonderful people here in Tribe and TampereES is doing. So I would say that I'm just grateful for having all this happen.
The collaboration is the key to everything, and having the channels to collaborate not only within the startup community but also outside the community. So it would be really important to really have direct channels to learn from the other cultures and other people, and really what we think that is the only way to do the thing is not a global thing to do the things. So exchanging the cultures and people and learning from everywhere, and having chance to really have the discussions with people with very different backgrounds.
For startups, crucial resources, what they need or what we need is first of all access to talent, or right kind of talent. And normally cities that have lots of students, and Tampere has that. That's one resource. The other one is of course funding. So what startup and what we would hope from the local ecosystem would be more access to investors and facilitate that kind of connection.
I do have connections with companies who have started about the same time when we started. We are basically doing a collaboration with the product design. We are helping some other companies and they are helping us, and then we have a really good trust between others, so we don't have to explain what we are specifically doing now for you. They just say that could you do this, and we say yes, and vice versa. So it's really easy working with, so it's about the trust network.
The most of the work that I do for the business at the moment is through my own studies, and through those assignments that I have, I'm kind of applying all the problems that I have with my business. And I'm also keeping up our social media. I have some remote workshops, especially for student teachers. And then we have our web shop.
Making the connections that one finds to be useful always takes trial and error. So yes, there's obviously a need for it, but the networking is the more important part, and then collaborations just come as a result of networking. And it's mainly companies collaborating together and sitting on one table and answering each other's doubts, and someone knows something better and teaches the others. So collaboration is a key, but it's just about getting the right people on around the same desk.
I think collaboration is the key for startups, or at least most of them, because when you're super small, you need other players. Even it might be a startup, or you collaborate with a bigger company to find bigger customers or test your product or service. Then of course these public organizations are important. So collaborating with multiple levels is super important for startups, because otherwise you're just too small. One key thing is connecting with other cities even more, that we have good connections and easy to talk, whoever is in Tampere or in Helsinki. On addition, I think one of the definitely improvement parts is also how we attract international talent to stay in Tampere. They need to just be really easy access for people, and also if they don't know about it, they cannot find it. So make them available.
I mean, of course, it's very, always you need to, it's like discussed in the beginning, that you need to talk with others of your ideas, and I guess that's the only way to take it further. It's not really an ecosystem work anymore, then it's about, the individual startups, and of course, it's not always, it's not, for everyone, it's not a business venture, it's for someone, it's a lifestyle. And I'm facing that, okay, we've got this idea and we keep this idea, and it sometimes makes it difficult to adjust and do cooperation.
So I think from day one, we've been in fairly regular contact with, for instance, Business Tampere. It's been helping us in sort of, creating these events or communities where companies, customers and suppliers and other companies can get to know each other and maybe come up with some new bright ideas. So kind of helping us to build our network. I think we've been working together in reaching out in certain hackathons or networking events, things like that. So I think that's at least for us, the most valuable part of the collaboration with Business Tampere.
It would be stupid to say that there is no competition, but I rather look at who can work with us and with who we can work together. Like I said, if somebody is lying exactly to the north and we are northeast, why we do not combine our knowledge and make, for instance, combined product or whatever, collaboration. One word.